very happy indeed to announce that our trans-Siberian trip looks promising. I was very concerned for a little bit that it wasn't going to pan out. It looked difficult to sort out the logistics of getting the visas organised and stuff. But in the end, we've gone through a third party to help us with that. It's not too expensive, so very happy. We haven't actually booked it yet, but I've sent over my passport scan to my friends, and hopefully it'll be booked today, so that's awesome. We are travelling from Beijing, stopping a couple of days in Mongolia, which is great, and then forwards all the way to Moscow. So yeah, very excited about that. That will happen in mid-November, so not long now, about 6 weeks. No, wait, I'll be going in October, yeah, mid-October, so about 6 weeks, flying to Beijing. Anyway, I thought I'd do I was inspired, let's say. I listened, I'm a big fan of audiobooks at night. I've been listening to audiobooks at night for the last 4 years, I would say, maybe 5 years. And the other night I listened to a short story that I'd never listened to by Stephen King. I'm a huge Stephen King fan, but the man writes faster than I can read, so you know, it's not really, but you know, he writes a lot, so I haven't ploughed through everything he's written yet. I listened to The Jaunt, and it was possibly the most disturbing thing I've ever read. I say read, I listened to it, but I'll use the word read, effectively read. It was incredibly disturbing, just I'm still haunted by it now, just sat in the sun 2 days later. But you know, it tickles that part of the brain that I kind of obsess over, the kind of juicy haunting. It's a strange feeling, but it's why I love horror literature, I suppose. I've planned a bit of a longer video about this, but I'll just be quite brief at this point. I'm a huge fan of horror films, but horror films don't really scare me. I mean, there may be, I don't think there are any exceptions these days that I can think of, but I still love them. That's not the point. There's all kinds of depths of layers of why I like horror films, but I'm going to go into that at a different time. Horror fiction, horror literature can be scary to me, and I think that's because what's scary is that no man's land where your brain is kind of concocting the most horrific things it can think that's possibly what the author is going for. And the thing about Stephen King is he's so brilliant because he operates at that level which is subtle. He pops in a sentence which maybe is just innocent, or maybe it's not, and your brain goes on to overdrive. So is it that? And that's where the horror lies, I think. But The Jaunt, yeah, I would just say go and listen to it. I don't even want to say the ending. It's very short. It's science fiction. If you like science fiction, horror, but if you like horror, just listen to The Jaunt, and there's a good recording of it available. Just listen to The Jaunt. It's amazing. So yeah, or read it. Just The Jaunt. It's incredible. Cheers.